Hi. Welcome to what? Hi, welcome to Messages from the Universe. This is a special one because it was just the equinox, right? So, and it's so timely. This painting, you can kind of see it, but this painting, whenever I channel a painting, it's not intentional. It's like, hey, it's March and it's spring. Let me paint something springy. That's not how it works. Literally, I'm like, if this is what I see, they give me one step, and that I'm going to paint a tree, I'm going to paint this woman, I'm going to do this thing, right? So I just listen. That's my job, is just to listen and just translate. And so, but it's such a springy painting, isn't it? Perfect. Yeah, it is kind of perfect. So, yeah, this is the painting this month. We're not really going to go over the painting so much. We're going to do a little bit different format, right? So where we're going to kind of just channel information that came through for this event specifically, and then we're going to touch on that because that's what's happening right now for sure. But so we're going to share information that way. But then the last like 3/4 of the class or whatever this is really going to be more of we're going to read for people for sure, but it's going to we want to have more of a dialogue or conversation with you guys, meaning like if things come up or you have questions about something, we want you to feel free to ask so we can kind of let you all and us and the universe kind of let this be whatever it's meant to be. That makes sense. So if you feel called to ask a question, it's going to be pertinent for others, even though you might get the butterflies and, in school when you have to like speak up and you're like, I used to do that all the time. You know what I'm talking about? No? Okay.
I never heard of it.
Never heard of it in school. You're like, I'm going to say something. I don't know.
So that being said, we will probably say your question out loud so that those online can hear you if you're here in person. And then the same thing, if they have a question, we will read it and we'll talk about it together. We love how the group is just communing together. That's, like I said, my dream. And so we want to hold more space for that. So that being said, we want to start with, I feel like we've been talking about this painting all day, but we really did.
In some ways, when spirit comes in and we say, hey, what is it that this group wants to know or needs to know or whatever, it always comes through right away with a ton of love. So there's so much energy available to us. Like in some ways they want us to understand, like the veil is very thin right now. Thin in a way that it's never been this thin before, to where that's why everyone's awakening. And that's why people like Bill next door all of a sudden is extremely intuitive or whatever, because it's this thinner veil. So everyone's really starting to be able to kind of recognize who they really are, because everyone's intuitive, right? Everyone has gifts. So people have access to that more. So they want us to just feel the love that's available to us. That came in first and foremost, because this isn't easy right now. And you signed up for it a long time ago, all right, for this shift. But it's also a very exciting time, You can talk. I'll let them in. Yeah, I got it.
So the first thing that came through for me was something really joyful and exciting, and it is this energy and this message around things are getting easier. There is an opportunity, an invitation into this new way of being, this new energy that allows for life to get easier, lighter. I think in the podcast, I use the word effortless, right? Effortlessly cultivating something to you. And if you have any doubts on how to do that, I would revert to this painting because it really kind of puts all of it out there. There is so much flipping information in this painting. I don't think I've ever seen a painting with more information. Well, maybe, no, not even that one. I can't even say that. Maybe that one, actually.
Yeah, that
the
one's
one right
right
above you with the lion. That one has a lot of information. So just
like almost like a roadmap.
Yes.
This is a roadmap. In some ways, they're like, another message that came through today was we're portals. We are the portal. So you're the portal. So we're the ones that are going to kind of bring in this new earth frequency. It's happening on the earth too. The earth is the biggest portal, but it's happening within us. And so to access that portal, I mean, that's the best word, kind of. It's a weird word, but it'll work. You follow this, you master the self, you create a sacred sanctuary within you. If you have a hard time with silence or a hard time being alone, that's that sacred sanctuary. And so if you are having a hard time with that, it's just the shadows of yourself that are coming up that need your attention. They're like, finally, you're listening. All right, well, here's all this pain and sadness. And that's why people are like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to feel silence. That's a scary place because those parts come up. But if you kind of see that through, right, and really learn how to love those shadows parts, right, and those feelings by allowing for them to have a voice, you'll see on the other side of that is your own version of like heaven on earth, your own version of abundance. This is called the promise of abundance, because we all have that divine right to have whatever it is that we want. We're master creators, and you're promised that here, really.
And you must consciously, intentfully, powerfully, and lovingly create it. You are the only one who can create it for you. It cannot come outside of you. And I want to talk about what it means to be a portal, because we throw that out there a lot. A portal is an access to who you really are. And initially, the physics of how this reality works is that we kind of go in and then we come back out, and we go in and we come back out. And by going in and remembering, we then can see, hear, and feel parts of us that are not in alignment or not in an understanding with that remembering of who we are. So this is why we practice going back and forth, in and out of the portal. Ideally, what's on the other side of the portal of you, what is you, comes inside here in this very experience, this creation of life, your life. These are words that I'm giving to an energy, a power that is a part of you. And it's remembering this. How do you move forward? What do you create? And in this way, making it easier, not because there will not be discomfort and pain. If anything, the pain and discomfort and fear and insecurity and doubt and shame and anger, it's going to be more obvious. In your shit, screaming loud.
That only took you about 5 minutes to swear. Record time. Let's get this.
It's so funny that like I'm the one that swears.
I know, it is.
That is funny.
Because I'm so prim and proper.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. It is meant that way to help you, to make it obvious. Okay, nothing bad is happening. Go ahead. Okay.
Well, it's not me, it's them. They were saying in this space, and what could be happening for some, if you have unresolved like traumatic experiences, or if you have unresolved emotions, right, that's where you're like, it feels like I'm just in nothing but darkness. Like, why is it that there's nothing but all of these heavy feelings or sadness? And so to our ego, it's going to be like, that's the evidence that there is something bad happening, right? Like there's something bad happening. I don't feel good ever. Like I used to at least have some reprieve. And because time is kind of speeding up, and for those of you that can recognize that, like our even experience of time is weird. Just that's where we need you to kind of trust what we're saying. There is this element, even for us as we're going through that ourselves, there's parts of us that don't feel like it's okay, right? But in those moments of not feeling okay, we say, hey, but I remember nothing bad is happening and all my needs are met. So even though I don't feel that way right now, I'm going to trust and I'm going to surrender that there could be something else going on. For me, physically, I thought I was dying. Like literally, I was like, I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm gonna die. I don't know. I'm feeling this, and my ego really wanted to attach what I was experiencing to something that I could control. So it was like, nope, my body's shutting down. My body's doing something I don't even know, but this is what's happening. So I had to surrender to, hey, there's nothing bad if there's nothing bad happening, right? I was like, all right. Okay, maybe I'm not dying. I don't know. Maybe I'm not dying. But maybe I remember, and then I was like, oh yeah, maybe this is just emotional, because I know that that's really what's happening right now, is all this emotion, because it's harder for me to tap into the emotional stuff. So I'm like, maybe this is the emotional stuff. Let me go there. And so then I started unraveling. Okay. So even all of the things that I swear my ego, my intellect was like, no, there's something wrong with your body. Nope. You got cancer, you're dying, whatever. Right.
We did almost go to the ER like 3 or 4 times.
But I didn't. And I was
It would
surrounded.
have been okay if you did.
It would have been okay. Right. But it was really, I was like, no, I just have, this is how intense these emotions are for me. And everyone has a different experience. And so I allowed those feelings to express. I was doing the work, just all the stuff that we do. And it literally went away. So whenever that kind of panic starts happening, and that's where I'm sending that out to you guys to say, nothing bad is happening. It really is. That's what's kind of being shaken up for everybody, is your shadow. And shadow is just a word for unresolved emotions, the emotions that haven't been expressed yet.
And I want to normalize and name what Wendy is talking about and why she's bringing this through again. You may have heard her talk about this in the past. It is because the energies that we're about to experience, especially this month, but in the future still, it's this tumultuous up and down Alice in Wonderland magic, truly. And we name that so that you can remember, again, I get to haunt you. I love this.
Right.
That you're like, oh, I kind of remember them talking about, yes. Only good is happening, and this is a change, and your psyche is going to want to hold on. Your psyche's going to think you're in danger. So you're not doing anything wrong. You get to show up and create what's happening. You are the meaning maker of this reality for yourself. You are the only one who gets to say. Now, if you listen to the news and they're going to tell you it's because we're going to hell and everyone's going to kill each other. No, thank you. Right? I don't know about you, but I'm shutting off the TV. No, thank you.
Albert Einstein said, don't quote me because I don't remember the actual quote, but he did say one of the biggest choices that we have, all of us as a human, is to decide whether we're in a friendly environment where everyone's here to support each other and grow, or we're in a, what was it? Something like, or we're in where we're in survival, where we have to fight for everything that we need. And each of us have to decide what reality we live in. And that's coming from one of the greatest minds, whatever. And he knew it back then, right? And Wayne Dyer said something similar to that. And there's other great thinkers, but it's the same thing. Like we have the power to decide. And that's what we're moving into, is this empowered state.
So the energy and the way that it works, instantly you have an idea, a concept, and the minute that you grab hold of it, it then creates in your reality. That is the message of this painting, this beautiful painting. So you can do this. You can live here. You choose fear. You grab hold of that. You interact with it. You engage with it. It will create in your reality. It will manifest. Don't take my word for it. Seriously, think I'm full of shit. Swear again for you.
Thank you.
And watch it happen. The energy is so powerful right now, and will be and forevermore, actually, that show up for that. Watch it. Choose love, choose balance, choose peace. Watch what happens there. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This choosing love and choosing peace and balance, it's a little bit more challenging, because our culture has trained us to not believe in that. It is actually easier and more comfortable. The pathway is more entrenched to be afraid and be in survival. That's what we've been moving out of. That is what we moved out of, straight up. And we, everyone in this room and everyone listening, are the announcers of this change. We are the ones showing the way. That's why we're having this conversation right now. You're the ones who are choosing this new way of being. And yes, your part of you is going to want to, yeah, but this one's so smooth. We're going to just go over here and fear it. Remember, it's really comfortable. And part of you is going to go, yeah, it is totally comfortable. We don't even have to think for ourselves. They're going to think, the news is going to tell us. Everyone's out to get us.
And there is a threat. There is a
Yes.
threat. Now, tell us where the threats are. What's that?
Every day.
Every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. No, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. No, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. Right.
What's that? Yes. Yeah, it's too much. When you first enter here, right, and you're in a calm, peaceful, let's say in an environment, let's say right now, in this environment where you feel loved and supported, where anything is possible and that truly miracles are possible, right? I can heal, I can really create whatever it is I want. That's really what we're creating, is this container of possibility. When you first enter it where there are no threats, it's not necessarily easy because we have been under threat. And I just am saying that partly because we all are carrying some of that war, the wars that we've been through for the millennial, where we've had to fight forever. So it's in our DNA. And so we have to reconcile. So when it first calms down, what happens? If you even, let's say if you go to war, you come back, once it's finally calm and you are safe, what ends up happening is you start remembering all the trauma. And that's where we have to be wiser than the trauma. We have to know, this is the path to healing. This is it. If I'm witnessing or I'm experiencing some emotion, when I know it's calm and safe, then this just must be part of the process of healing. And that's what I'm trying to say, is just that we are on this path of healing. And that's really what they want us to know, is because some of this doesn't make sense if you're still feeling some of those things. And that's where we really urge you to allow for this process to heal yourself. You deserve to feel safe. And we have to take care of what's happening inside of us. This is the divine feminine, is this creating the sanctuary within us where your thoughts and your feelings are all aligned, like Brenda was saying, but it's not easy all the time.
I kind of want to talk about that. Why isn't it easy?
Why isn't it easy for me? I can only speak for myself.
Of course, we can all only speak for ourselves, right? Like, because that's
so overwhelming. No, right?
No, sure.
Say,
I mean, you get to feel however you feel, right?
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror.
To take responsibility.
And
Sure. And I would invite you to dive deeper into that, right? Because why is it hard to take responsibility? Because we're afraid that we're doing something wrong. Now we're meeting up with an even bigger part.
So then you're really not worthy of love, or you're really not worthy of peace.
If we can shift our relationship with all that is and allow for everything to be great, and that's my word, allow for everything to be a wonder, right? If we can just be so curious, it can allow for this to be easier. And I appreciate you letting me put you on the spot a little bit with it, because I do think that many people feel like this is really hard. And of course, I want to honor and respect that always. I'm going to validate it every single time. And I'm still going to invite you into a different way of being that says, could you enter this more curiously? Like, it's not a good or bad thing, right? And it's good or bad when we feel bad about ourselves. And some of us do. I know I do. I know I have parts of me that beat me up and say I'm not good enough. And how do I navigate that? What do I do in that? How do I be in that? And maybe that's the conversation. How do we be with emotions? I mean, if you've heard me talk at all, you know I get very passionate about the emotional space because we don't talk enough about it. We don't allow ourselves to be in it. And I want to kind of make fun of something a little bit, but maybe show what healthy would look like if you were at war. Because many of us, especially in our early life experiences, we had a war type environment or culture where we were not emotionally safe. And how you would rectify that, repair that, or heal that is you would show up every single day in something like this. And you would go, how did it go today? How did it feel when you were starting to talk about how you felt and the person said they didn't care? and that you don't matter. Like, what did that feel like? And that person would go, it hurt me so much. I felt like I didn't matter. And I'm like, you did? Wow. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Tell me more. And that part says, well, and then I had all these feelings, and then I didn't know what to do with them, and I stuffed them down, but then I got a stomach ache, and I just was I was so scared. I don't even know what happened. And you say, wow, yeah, tell me more. And if I can sit there for that day and process whatever arose in that day, that person, that part of me gets to go, thanks.
That makes so much sense.
That is what I mean when I say you need to be seen, heard, validated, and loved. That is what we need. That is what that looks like. That trauma that happened that day, if you can do that with that one day, it doesn't exist. It's repaired. Because that is what we need. And that's what we're meeting right now. And you are meeting it. This energy is piggybacking on experiences of war and neglect and abuse. And abuse on both sides, guys. We're owning being the abuser, and we're owning being abused. We're owning killing, and we're owning being killed. Talk about complicated, and that's okay. We got lots of help here. This is cool. This is like flying through. It's like mental health and steroids. Anyway.
Yeah. Get like kind of going, and it's like it keeps coming.
That's good.
It's the age of Aquarius, and that's part of what this year's energy was about. And so in that way, it doesn't surprise me that is it March is this painting, because we were going to start becoming very aware of where we weren't free, where we had to take our power back, where we had to deal with power. So power was a huge discussion this month on our podcast and things with this painting. It was like, how do we, because our power chakra, the sacral solar plexus, thank you, is about making yourself the center of the universe in some way. So where is it that you were giving a power where they got to say what your value is, your worth, or they got to say, if my painting was good or bad or whatever, wherever you're doing that in your own life, right? It was about you recognizing where you're kind of giving it away. And we're doing that on a global scale, right? So then cultures or groups of people are starting to recognize where they didn't have that kind of freedom, right? So it's internally happening to us, and then it's happening globally, like with large groups of people. So wherever that there's an injustice with that, or a disproportion of plays of power, those are kind of being highlighted this entire year. And so it doesn't surprise me that we're starting to really kind of see some of that now. We're starting to now energetically kind of embody that interaction or understand it on a more intimate level.
The imbalance.
Or balance, yeah. So, yeah.
I feel like you were going to go somewhere else with that too.
Yeah. I mean, they're taking me everywhere, but you go.
No, go.
Why? This, because they're showing me the painting that I created for this year. And in that painting, I should have a copy of it because I didn't know. This is where if you just trust in the moment, right? You just kind of bring up what is necessary. But you're not always prepared, right? Like, where's that painting then? But
You want to go grab it?
no, there's a for those of you that like Tesla, right? 3, 6, and 9 are kind of the foundations of fabrics of reality, frequency, energy, and what's the other one? I don't know. Something. And they're showing me that, and that's really what this painting shows is the 3, the 6, and the 9. It's literally mastering your frequency, mastering your energy level, which is literally the lower 3 chakras and beyond. That's really what they're saying. Because when we can get our power back, and that's where we can then manifest whatever it is that we want in this reality, and that's where we start really entering in the ages of miracles, where we will be able to move mountains, we will be able to move matter. But before it would be yogis or people that really focus their energy where they can levitate.
Immerse themselves. Yeah.
But now it's really available for everyone. I mean, can you imagine where you don't have to like dedicate your life and energy to just doing that one thing, where now all of a sudden that power is accessible to all, but you really only can access it if it's within the frequencies of love. We've learned that through other ages of humans, where if they do abuse, they've abused it and it wasn't aligned with the frequency of love, and that's not going to happen again. Like Atlantis, right? We've learned that. We know what that looks like. And this really is about an embodiment of the great I am of love. And that's really where the potential, where we're headed here.
And said in a very human way, it is about mastering the self. It is about identifying who you are and all of the nuances of it. What do you like? What do you think? Spending time there. Cultivating some kind of practice, 10 minutes a day truly is enough. Showing up for yourself, journaling, just talking.
Yeah, it
Thank
doesn't
you.
have to be spiritual. I mean, everything's spiritual. So, I mean, whatever. Let's just throw that word out. It's just like master. How do you feel today? That's why journaling is so important. How do you feel? What's going on with you? I mean, that's how important you are. You have the great I am in all of your DNA. You have the light of divinity within you. You are a replication of it, which means you have access to it at all times. And that's why I can read for you, or you could read for me, because you are me and I am you. I mean, it's really, intellectually, I get it, but even feeling that, there's so much love there. You want to hug it out? It's cool. We're doing it a little different format,
Yeah.
so we don't really know where it's going to go.
So let me just.
We're just
feel
kind
if
of
there's
feeling
anything
it
else that
out,
we
like
can-
we're on a little adventure.
I feel like there's
Yeah.
something different with you.
Yeah, it's different.
Like there's, I don't know. It's like, it's just, it's hard to explain, but it's very bright. You just like,
Yes.
yeah,
You are
you just-
radiant
there's
tonight.
like this light in you that I just like, I've seen it before,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen
It's because
it.
are you talking about me?
Yes,
Yeah.
you.
Oh, it's because I
Yeah.
shower.
We're so proud of you.
No, really.
No, but
Sometimes
there
it's
is,
just
she's
like,
not lying. I thought
Yeah.
the same thing.
I'm like, oh, the showering.
No, there's a
I don't- I'm an artist, man. I'll go like weeks. I'll be like, oh, it's time.
I am you and you are me.
Yeah, see, we knew. Anyways, I don't know. You go.
No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
good
know.
with that. Isn't
I
it?
mean, I know, I'm
Yeah,
like, I
like,
don't know face for
It
that.
seems like I might really like attention,
Just
but
say
then.
it, yeah. She's struggling with it and then
Yeah.
trying to like play
Yeah.
it off.
She
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Maybe, I'm sorry not to interrupt again, but I feel like what she puts out, like you're like,
They found him.
yeah, like, well, no, like it's almost like you have more of her in you than any other session that I've seen.
More of
Like-
her in me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's more of this, like,
She's
maybe what
really-
it is that because you're very like emotional, like love, and then you bring something else, but it's like that light is more, it's shining brighter in you.
Weird. I don't feel any different.
And your outfit's real
Yeah,
good
you
today.
look good.
Real cute today. Just saying.
Thanks.
You
I'm
couldn't
single.
see that one.
Taking implications.
Smart ass.
Anyways,
You can pay us later.
yeah, thanks. It's funny.
That is exactly what happens when we allow for all of this to enter here. That is exactly. I'm privy to her journey a little bit. and
Yeah, I mean, in
would
some
honor-
ways, since the
yes.
last time, I've really learned how to love myself in the last month. Like some big pieces of just, I mean,
Well,
so
showing.
you're seeing it.
Yeah.
You're really
Yeah.
seeing what
Yeah.
happens. So
Your eyes are very clear and twinkle. Like very clear.
It looks great on you.
yeah, thanks.
Um,
But that's really available for everybody, right? That's what we're.
I don't know. There's,
And there she goes again.
it can be uncomfortable to sit in.
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, partly too, I mean, it is harder for me to receive for sure to a certain degree, but it's also cultural, it's, and you want to make sure too that it's like, it's not, doesn't create separation. Right? I mean, that's really important. Where now there's more separation between you and I. Like, I don't want that.
Oh, no.
Oh, I know, but that's what I start feeling. Like, I don't want you to think that, because that light that you're really seeing is you, and you're thinking it's me. That's
Well,
what's kind of
I
trippy.
felt like it was just like a Twilight Zone for a second.
Because
No, wait, it's you.
well, partly, but it's like a mirror
It
of
is
your
both.
light.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you really are only seeing what you are
Yeah.
meant to see. Because somebody else might not see that same light because whatever. So in a way, it's your own gift to yourself.
Yeah, she was miserable in a way.
I always
She's
do.
she's different.
I don't know
Since
what
the
it
first time
is.
she came, she's different, and she's like, like we're going on a plane to Arizona.
Yeah.
And the thing is that she never in a bazillion years would ever get on a plane, and like just the things that have changed in her life from since that first session is just amazing. So yeah, she is seeing her because she is brighter and she is learning a lot more about herself. But it is like when she walked in here, she said, "Okay, I feel better." Because we were all like, "Wait a minute, Wednesday? No, it's Thursday. I blocked off Thursday. What are you talking about? It's Wednesday."
Oh, we had to change it
that's
around.
funny.
Sorry.
That's for me. Yeah.
It's meant to be.
Oh, that's cool.
So she sat down and said that. So yeah.
Yeah, it felt good being here. It felt really good.
And that's, Brenda was talking about like the going the back and the forth, right? Like going back and forth and oscillating between the energies. It's like you remember this, you go back and you start integrating it. Like, wait, yeah, I don't really like this, or I'm going to say no to them. So you're slowly integrating more and more light, and that's what we all do, right? It's like, oh, because even being together, where we can hold the light together and we just expand. We're going to go back into real life or whatever, and we're going to start integrating more of that light. And however, so you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like shifting our behaviors.
And also acknowledging that even the minute that you leave here, whoever you interact with, whether you're going to the gas station or you're going to go see your family, you're bringing this all to them as well. We share it exponentially. So then hence why we cultivate this more. That's why we've been doing this every month, because we know it's time, and we all get to feed here.
Like when we first started this, they would say to us that we don't even realize that we're living in a desert and there's been no water for centuries. And in some ways, the teaching is water. And then you don't even realize you forgot that even what to drink felt like. You even forgot what water was. And so this is the water, and you're like, oh my God, I've been thirsty. I didn't even realize, what is this? What is this that I'm feeling? You don't even know what you're feeling. We're like, that's thirst or whatever, right? So in some ways, remembering that this is even like necessary. You're like, wow, I've been starving or thirsty, whatever I used. So yeah. And then think about the analogy or the symbolism of that. So you're going to start watering things. You're going to start watering yourself. You can start watering land. What happens, right? Everything changes.
Right and easy.
Right.
Exactly.
In a way that you didn't even know was possible. It's that analogy. We've been living in a desert. We've never seen a tree. We've never seen a bush. You get what I'm saying? And now we're starting to feed. And so what's going to happen? There's weird things that are happening. And we're scared. We're like, oh my God, what is that? Is that danger? Is that shrub? Is that danger? Can I eat it? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what's happening. Yeah.
And the way that it's designed right now, and it won't always be this way, the way that it is right now, that whatever you water will grow. So if you're engaging in thoughts or feelings that are negative, they will grow. If they're positive and loving, those things will grow. So it is this habit of practicing. Do not engage in conversations or stories or dialogues that do not align with your heart. That would be what I would want for you. And you can choose that. And I'm going to love you through that too. It's taking responsibility. You are the only creator for yourself. You are the only one with source, with God. Yes. When you don't know what to do, just check back in, give it up. Because I know I have to do this sometimes. I'm like, I don't even know what the heck this is. It's you can have it. I'm out. Don't know. And honestly, like, I really don't know. And I don't have to take on other people's stuff, and I don't have to worry. Talk about that. Worrying. How much time do we spend worrying? Going to bed in our car.
And those are the habits. Those are the behaviors that
Worrying
we're
about
being
time.
asked.
Oh my God, I have to go here. I have to go here. It's like, right? Maybe that was part of your day. I don't know. But just like, right? Like, no. And so like practicing that. And again, you're not doing anything wrong. Just notice that's the cultivating the mastery of self. What are you doing with your energy?
And then if you're wanting something in your life, right, or you're lining everything that you know consciously, you're doing the work, you're manifesting, you're doing the stuff, right, but then it's still not happening, right? Or let's say you're like, hey, I want these beautiful, loving relationships or experiences, and then you get somebody in your face yelling at you, and you're like, wait, I've been manifesting. What's going on? That's what's happening too, because if that is happening for you, like you're like, hey, I'm wanting abundance, we say the same thing, but it's because there is a belief system within you that does feel whether you deserve it. So it's our subconscious that's being brought to the surface. So if you are manifesting or wanting something and the opposite is actually happening in your life, or it's not happening, it's because there is a belief system within you subconsciously that goes along with it. You'd be like, man, I really am. I really love everybody. Why isn't that happening? Whatever, right? Yeah.
We don't have names to go into that right now.
No.
So we want to take a break and then we'll put the names together.
Yeah, just let's do a couple minute break and then we'll start reading for people and then we'll leave open for questions, right?
Mhm.
Sound good?
So about 30 to 45 minutes, we're going to draw names, as many as we have time for. And Wendy and I are going to read for them intuitively from spirit. Doesn't that just sound so limiting? Like, is that really what we're doing? I don't know.
We literally are like, hey, where are you going tonight? We're going to Hey Spirit.
That's what we call it.
Hey, Spirit.
It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
But
been
honestly,
able to
that's
put
the
any-
best part of our month. Like,
Yeah.
I love it.
That's so
Even
It's
when
the best
you're
part
not,
of my life.
Yeah.
even when
I
you're
have
not
not
the
been able to
person
put any-
being read for, like, there's
Like
just
we're
so
going to our
much
thing.
connection with like the
Our
person
thing.
that is getting read, like, and I don't like, I always tell her, 'cause she has all these like feelings and she's like, oh yeah, no, don't do that. Oh yeah, do that. Well, now I feel like when I'm in that
Don't tell me
room,
not to do that. I just say, I encourage
you to reach out to your father. I've gotten the vibe a few times. Yeah.
I get it 3 times. I'm telling you.
Cryptic
Guiding,
things.
not demanding.
Exactly.
that's mastering the self, right? She's got a language going and everything. It's pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Because I have a person.
Camera D,
Uh-oh.
Oh, girl.
Come on down.
you're the next contestant.
It's gonna be lighter.
Life changing for me.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah, you have the bar up real high. Can you just bring it down here? We're gonna suck. Yeah, no, I can see, but they really want you to start leading. That's why you're starting the circle this time, and that's why it's so important for you to understand in a very physical way. Whoever starts the circle typically is being asked to kind of step forward. I mean, not in this moment, but in life, meaning really it's time for you to be seen. And I know that's a little scary because it's been so vulnerable for you up to this point, but it really is time for you to be seen. Because you've still kind of pretending or playing a little bit. It's okay. It's all right. It's just time. So it's kind of like, you've been an angel and you've like tucked your wings in, and it's time to just, untuck your wings. Let it like expand. Like that's what it feels like. You need to expand and just, it's going to feel so good. It's been like crammed in there. Because your abilities, those are really knocking at your door, like really to expand fuller into what you can do. I mean, you're really different, you're really kind of special where you have a unique gift with like sound and color and feeling. And it's miraculous. You don't even realize what you can do because you haven't really expanded your wings. You're like, hey, what are these things? I know I'm different, so I've been tucking them back here. But really, it's going to make you fly. But you don't even know that these things can make you fly, right? Mm-hmm. It's a metaphor, but your gifts. It's like, so that you have some gifts, and they're about feeling, and it's about. But when you actually get to expand and say, hey, wow, I can really do this. Wow, that's cool. I didn't know I was able to do that. Because you need to like take that off. So you can start really, that's what Spirit really wants for you to do. Start playing with your gifts. Start really exploring where that goes. The earth will be key for you. Partly to ground some of the energy, integrate some of this energy. And in some ways, the people around you will not understand, and it's okay. You have to start getting more comfortable with knowing, understanding the language that you speak. Because there are some that will. And what's going to happen is you're actually going to start finding your people. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do, very much.
She's the third. She's our third.
Very much.
But if you are a third of, let's say, a 3, you have to be strong. You have to be like a pillar. And each one of the 3 has to be strong. Which no more codependency, no more pretending. And I'm talking to the 3. If you really want what it is that you're asking, which is to be a strong 3, that means there's no wound connection. You're not going to just pretend that wound doesn't exist. You're going to help each other through that wound. Because there is a little bit of that. And that's why I say codependency. So I'm kind of busting your chops a little bit. Not you. I'm actually talking to the whole 3. But you get what I'm saying. Because you guys have the potential to do that. But you understand what I'm saying? Like you have to be strong in your own energy. And that means if they die, if they're not part of the 3, whatever happens, you're still strong. It's not dependent on that. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
This is her year. This is her year.
100%.
I like that.
That is what comes through the strongest right now, is that when I first met you, it was about healing, and now it's time to change. And it really is meant to change direction in a profound way. And this is a marked time right now. In Asian culture, this is around the new year, well, closer to the new year than our time, okay? This is your time. I'm going to say it one more time just to make it a 3. This is your time. This is your new year. So you look at your year now from this, middle of March till next middle of March, okay? This is the time. It is going to be different. It is going to be... Have you changed jobs or something? Like, have you done that yet?
Well, I did this is my second year. So October just passed was my second year changing and coming to Hindsight, which is the business that Jennifer created.
You're there full time now, though?
She's her role is changing because she is changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just got chills. Okay, thanks. Yeah, it's very
And
new.
it was growing, so it was
Yeah.
very small scale, and then now it's changing,
Okay.
and her relationships with people in the business are changing.
Cool.
She's
Her
more of a
confidence is
leader. that type of stuff.
Yeah,
So
it feels very different, and it feels like it evolves for the next little bit here. It feels like it evolves really like 3 to 6 months. It's going to evolve, and then but in 6 months' time, it's pretty much going to settle. There's someone very excited to connect with you. Very clear. You've got to let go. You're getting mad because your boundaries are being crossed. It's like you're getting mad because your boundaries are being crossed. You're getting mad because your boundaries are being crossed. You've got to say no. Okay, like
Oh,
you've
God,
got to
who was
clean
that,
out.
right? That's the person that's sleeping in my bed right now. Well, it's my best friend. Well, my
Close friend.
yes, one of my best friends has been staying with me.
We need her to go.
Due to
Yeah.
her like
Yeah.
struggles, it's her big part is.
Oh my God, I can't believe you
Welcome.
said that.
crazy.
Okay, so like it's those kinds of things that need to clean out. It has everything to do with this painting, pay everything. Because you are letting go of that no longer serves you. And this has been lifetimes in the making of setting these boundaries, lifetimes in the making, like ancestral type things from a lot of different people. So it's been taught to you from different sources. I can feel it coming all around you. Your whole life really does change from here. So they're right about this being your pivotal year. You won't really know it until next year, because next year is when you're going to really be in a different place. But this year you're kind of you're going in a different direction. And then in the year, you'll notice that you've
Looking
shifted.
back.
Exactly. Very much so looking back. Holy cow. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So, it's a different, the invite for you is very powerful, very profound. And it's an invitation to hold something that you've held in other lifetimes. And I'm going to partly leave it at that. I know you can read the energy that I'm giving you right now. And I'm going to leave it at that. I know that that's ambiguous. It doesn't need words yet. It's an invitation, and whether or not you choose this, I can tell you're pretty much almost there, but you haven't quite committed to say, yes, I will accept this responsibility. It is gifts. It's your power. It's a responsibility though, too, because you will need to live this life purpose, or you will feel unsettled if you don't. So if you take this on, if you accept this, I feel like Spider-Man, if you accept this, then you will have to pursue it. You'll have to help. You'll have to do something with it, because you just won't feel right. It'll feel out of balance unless, am I making any sense?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
I won't feel sad. I won't be satisfied.
You won't, thank you. That's a perfect word. Satisfied. You won't be satisfied without it. So yes, that is here in this year. That is literally, and it's definitely a different business that, holy cow, I can see clear as day. So, okay. New relationships, new partnerships, new, that's different newness. That was cool. That was surprising.
It's like the wings expanding. That's like
Yeah.
the same kind of energy. Like you have gifts that you don't really understand yet. That's what she's kind of talking
She
about.
always had.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I've always known. I've always said things. People are like, yeah, what are you talking about? Like, no, I'm for real.
That's cool.
You know, the last thing I want to say to you is, you know, like the painting, what's best for you is best for everybody else in some ways. Not like, but you choosing what's best for you, and there's consequences, let's say, for them, and you're aware of them, like maybe they get kicked on the street, or you're thinking whatever. It really is the best. Whatever's best for you is okay for everybody else involved. Does that make sense? Like you have to trust that. There has to be that trust repaired within you, where what is best for you is best for everybody else. So like if you want to break up with somebody, even if they don't understand it yet, it is the best thing, because you don't want to be with them. You get what I'm saying?
Ultimately, in the long run, everybody will benefit.
Exactly. You have to trust. You got to put yourself first.
Yeah. This one right here has been telling me that almost every day.
Because what you're doing, you're creating relationships then where you're all interdependent, meaning you're all like healthy. It's healthy. You know, you're always going to choose what's best for you, and they're always going to choose, you know, what feels right for them and what feels right for them. It's not selfish. I mean, you understand what I mean?
Without malice.
I mean, I still feel bad though. I feel like that's just not who I am as a person, and I can't.
But in some ways, do you realize that you're holding them back?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Or making them look in the mirror.
Because you don't want to, it's almost like that rejection that you feel that she's going to feel is your own rejection. That you feel.
To start off and.
It's hard.
So if you come face to face with your own feelings of rejection and you just love that part of that, you would feel rejected. If you can love the moments when you felt rejected or nobody loved you, right? If you can really sit in that space and love that, you're going to look at her situation a little bit differently. It's not going to trigger you. It's not going to make you respond in an emotional way. You're going to see it and be like, you know what? I love you so much. You're not meant to be here right now. You're meant to be somewhere else. And let me help you get there. But this is not the way because it doesn't feel right for me. It's hurting me.
It kind of makes it
Easier.
Yeah.
Really good. Assuming she'll.
She thins
Figure it
herself
out.
out for others, and she's done this for years and years and years. And this is what we've been telling her, that sometimes, like, you know, you have to be honest with everybody involved because you're hurting yourself. You're dulling your light, you're taking your energy and everything and watering it down because you're putting it into someone that, to be frank, doesn't appreciate it.
So I would go there. What pattern in that, you know, where's that pattern coming from, right?
I think you have to acknowledge that your intentions are good and that, you know, you're wanting what's best for everybody. You want her to succeed, but you need to thrive to succeed.
And they don't have to understand. They don't even have to agree with you. She doesn't agree with you. That's okay.
You're gonna break the burden.
Like when you told me in my first reading and you said that there's relationships in my life that I have that is done, I need to get rid of it. And you said, I don't need to tell you, you already know who they are. She was one of them that came to my head.
But I think that this is why it happened, because she needed to see her in her entirety.
Yeah. And the pattern and the, yep, all that.
Sharon C.
I already got it.
You want to share or you don't have to?
The relationship that I'd be breaking up with is my son.
Oh.
It actually comes back.
It does.
And you know, that's why you followed her. You know that way. Just
And
saying
that's
for the
more
rest of you.
validation for you as well.
And I did ask for it.
That's for what?
The reading.
Oh,
Good.
so similar things where it's just like your heart is meant to expand, and this has just been weighing on us to where it's almost like an avoidance too, where, you know, there's reasons why you held on too long. So it's kind of like coming to terms with that, right? Where it's just like, it was like an avoidance, but, yeah, you really are meant to expand and grow and really do your business. You know that, right?
I just don't know how to get there.
Yeah, they're saying that it's different than you think. So don't try to find like a cookie cutter thing where you're going to kind of follow everybody else, kind of really make it different. You know, one of the messages for this month or this year was, you know, authenticity, meaning if you're doing something just because something else is working for somebody else, it's not going to be sustainable for you because it's not authentic. You need to have this frequency or vibration of authenticity. And so really checking in with what brings you joy what lights you up. And in some ways you're figuring that out. So let yourself kind of fumble your way through it. And like, even when we started, it was like, I'm going to do this. We don't do half the things we used to offer before because it's like, nah, that wasn't it, you know? And then what is yours will come back to you. So meaning like painting has always come back, but there are times when I had to say no to it, when I had to be like, this, I'm too scared. I'm too financially broke, whatever, but I would always keep coming back. So whatever's yours is going to find you, but you have to take some risk. You're going to start putting yourself out there. Same thing with hers, like the vulnerability piece. You're going to have to really be seen. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's something in your environment. I don't know what that is. There's something in your environment where it's just like compartmentalized, where like you're fine here and then here, like in your home or something, it's not. I don't know what it is.
Something's out of balance. Yeah.
To where you can only be really who you are in this one section. In life, you know, they're saying, okay, you can't ignore this anymore. Like this isn't working, whatever this is. You know, none of us can compartmentalize anymore. We used to be able to. We used to be able to say, I'm going to work. You know, work sucks. I hate my boss, but it's fine. It's paying the bills, and I'm at home because I could still live my life. Like spirit, this part of this new earth, so we have to integrate all of these parts where we have to allow us to be ourselves everywhere. And there is an area of your life where you're not able to, and you haven't been wanting to like open Pandora's box. Right? Because it's like you're exhausted partly. But honestly, it's the one thing that's going to set yourself free. It's going to help you expand into your business. It's going to actually give you the energy that you feel like it's going to suck from you. It's the thing that's taking the energy from you. Sorry.
No, I'm
Not sorry.
It's just hard to take a piece of you.
Yes.
It won't, you have to be willing to do this and jump and have this courage. And it won't be what you think it is. It really won't. It's whatever that tether is, however you're connected, it's not, I don't know what word to use. It doesn't feel right. It's like whatever it's connected to. So when it comes back true or real or something. I don't know if am I making any sense? Because it feels like trauma. It feels like imbalance. It feels like abuse. Sorry. And it feels like when it comes, it's true now. Then it's like, okay, better than ever. Like it's
Very I'm very
and I'm going to invite you to reframe that. Just because the unhealthy
I was trying to
implies
find I was growing.
implies judgment, right? The way that working, the way that functioning is, the energy in that it's, I agree. I'm like, out, get me out. And so you got to let it go. You got to let it die. It's got to die. And of course your psyche and your being is like, it's going to die and you're going to grieve. And that's real. And yet when it comes back, hallelujah.
Feel somehow tied or responsible to it. Like I can't be. Which I know is not.
Exactly.
Which I know is what's holding me back.
And partly he's playing on that. I can feel
Of
that.
course he is.
Okay. So it's just, it's an imbalance. It's a distortion.
Like I said that.
Okay. It's an imbalance. It's a distortion. So it is truly time. And I invite you to feel the energy in this room because it's like growing because you're getting it. I can feel it. You're like, yes, it's time. It's going to be better. I mean, it's going to be great. It is overdue and it's going to be worth it in a really positive, good, loving way. Cause I feel so much love here. This karma must wrap itself up because that's what it partly is. If I could tell you where the two of you were just some minutes ago in a different timeline, whoo, fuck. I said the F word. Dang. Very true.
Control.
Okay.
Well, talk about like there is that level in my life, like it's
Okay. And then this is really fun. this is fun. Because the thing is, I didn't want to talk with you because they told me that I needed to give an experience. Now that is the magic of you. Now I'm going to facilitate and I'm going to bring this through. But I want you to know that this is your magic, that this is you. And this experience, because of who you really are, because of you, everyone's going to benefit here right now. Okay? So even though I'm going to do something weird, like being weird,
Yeah, buckle in, everybody.
I'm ready.
I need, thank you. And it is you. It is you that's pulling this through. It's your entourage. Okay. And I'm almost like reminding you of what you can do with you and them. Okay. And partly because we have similar paths. That's how I can jump in on this. Okay. I need you to know this is you. So everything that's about to happen, I really need you to remember. Okay. Just maybe even the feeling of it. You don't need to remember it here. This part's overrated. Okay. So let's all get a little bit comfortable. I know the black chairs. Okay. Just as comfortable as you can. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and just get as comfortable as you can. And we're going to just slow down. And we're going to go within. We're going to remember who we are. And to do that, you're going to open your beautiful heart. So you're just going to notice that breath. And you're going to feel your heart space, that heart chakra of your being. And you're going to give permission, if it feels right for you, to open your heart, to choose love. And I invite everyone to imagine that there is a giant bucket. And whenever I see a giant bucket, I always have Archangel Michael come with that bucket. I don't know why. He just likes to help us remove that no longer serves us. So with Archangel Michael and this giant bucket, I invite you to let go of any stressors and throw them into that bucket. Any worries, let them go, toss them in. Any stories that you're worried about, any jobs, any people, just allow yourself to let go, even if it's just for a moment. Relationships that you're worried about, or jobs, or bills, or cars, or the planet, whatever it is. There we go. And here I invite you to notice and see all of the angels in this room. All of the light in this room. Again, connecting in that heart space. Feeling gratitude for this very moment, for your beautiful bodies. Just feeling and thinking within yourself, thank you, body. Thank you, self, for being here today. Thank you for allowing for this experience to happen. And with pure intent and love and power, I invite all of you here and listening to open the doorway to Source. From your heart space, imagining this energy emanating from your being and opening a doorway to God, to the great I am, and allowing this energy to come into this room and into our very beings. And from the very cells, the DNA of your body that begins to glow and activate, I invite you to love yourself. And I invite you to say and feel and think within your being with me, whatever feels right, and some version of, I love my authentic voice. I love my beautiful heart. I love being me. I love loving all that I love. I love thinking wonderful, light, peaceful thoughts. I love knowing how safe I am. I love knowing how healthy I am. And here I invite you to open your hands, maybe turn your hands over or just open them on your lap. And I invite you to connect with those that are not in physical form, who are here to help you and love you. I invite you to feel their hands in yours. I invite you to hear what they're whispering and maybe yelling to you. I invite you to allow them to heal your being in every way. There we go. And here I invite you to honor and thank everyone in this room, those that will listen later, those that are here now. I thank you for being here. I thank you for being you and sharing your light with all of us. And my dear friends, I invite you again to share this love with the planet. Wherever you're guided to bring this love. Maybe it's a country. Maybe it's simply those in need who just are in pain or choosing to heal, sending our love to them. Maybe it's our own families. Just shining your light and bringing love and healing everywhere. My dear ones, it is time. It is time for each and every one of you to remember who you really are. It is time to let your light shine. It is time to speak your voice, sing your song, play your games, be who you really are everywhere. There is nothing to be afraid of. There we go. Okay, and one more deep breath. I invite you to really embrace and own this loving energy that's here right now. There. I just don't want to come back, guys. I just want to stay here with you. So let's keep this in our hearts and allow ourselves to open our eyes and keep this energy going. Did you get all that? Because I almost said it out loud. Okay. Thank you, actually.
Kim W. Where do we put these?
I don't know. Did we put them back in there?
No.
Mr. Comfortable twice? Not me again.
I haven't really worked with your energy very much. Just neat.
You can do everything.
Mm-mm. I never have.
No.
Yeah, you ready for this? I'm just joking. I'll be gentle.
Let me have it.
Yeah. In some ways, it is about your power. It's about you really, there had been some fear, apprehension in this space, and no more. It's almost like you can't even avoid it. Yeah, it's about your voice. Really speaking up. It's yeah, it's surprising because I remember you in some ways. I want to be like you're a warrior, right? But you are playing like this weird small game. Like you're like, like I'm just gonna stay here, like but you're like rawr, yeah. And a man, but it's okay. You look so different. I remember you like half naked, kind of beefy. Yeah, that was straight up. It's awesome. But in that way, in that kind of brotherhood kind of energy, like we need you. It's time. It's like you can hear it. And it is Native American. It's like you can hear the calling. You can hear the calling. The drum beat is drumming. We need you. And in all of your glory, in all of your weirdness in some ways, the things that you remember are things that need to be brought back. But we tend to look at the past like we need to kind of bring it back. Like I did just say that, but did you say it? You got to bring it back. But it's so different than that because we can't be there anymore. We're too conscious now. We have other skills and we've evolved past where we were before. We're now aware of every culture everywhere, well, not everywhere in the world, but we are. And then now we're galactic. And so in that way, we're integrating all of these parts to make something new. So that's where this is where you're at. So this space where you have all of these parts of you and you know what they are and you're conscious of them. What do you do now? So before we would right. And I can feel that. It's like, and this is for everybody. It's like, what do we do now when we remember being a shaman and we remember working with the earth energy? We remember our galactic star mother, higher dimensional beings, right? We remember all of these things. What do we do now? And that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
Is follow your joy. Do whatever the heck you want. And the more you can follow the joy and keep it in the frequency of what feels and has the most excitement and what has the most joy, do that. Every day, what has the most excitement, most joy, do that. And the more you can kind of begin to choose that over and over again, that's like when the, serendipities kind of happen. That's when you're in your path. It's interesting because we listen to, I'm on social media, guys. I'm sorry. I like that stuff. But on one of them, and I don't know who it was like, when you're on your path, when it disappears. Because you really are only present. And so when you don't know where to go, he's like, I am here. I am here. Follow the stillness. I forget. It's like some wise man said this, right? I am the stillness. So be here. So if you need to know where to go, you be here. And you're on the right path, especially for all of us that are starting new paths that have never been here before. We're not following the Great Red Road anymore, this path to enlightenment. It doesn't work like that anymore. It works with going within and following this, your own now. But the excitement and the joy piece, that's the resonance. It has to have that frequency. So you needed to know what to do. It's that. Follow what brings you joy. And really be seen. In some ways, I really want you to be a lot wilder. Like you're wild, man, but you're kind of buttoned up. Which is kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm looking at you and I'm like, dude, you're wild. Why are you even wearing clothes right now? No, for real. For real. let it out. Like that would feel a little bit more you to me, you know? And so whatever doesn't allow you to be free, wherever you feel restricted is about taking your power, you need to start saying no to those things and no to those people, especially the people that want you to follow the rules. Because you got some of those people, and that's just kind of unlearning that and being like, and they've held a lot of power. A lot of the reason why those things and those people have so much power in your life is because it is past life. It's like a lot. So now it's like exponential. So that's why it doesn't make sense. You're like, man, I know better. Why isn't that moving? And it's because it's like so many lives of the same lesson you're holding. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So in that way, if you can just see it, you know, it is with the church. It is with, it's familial even, but it's started kind of with like, you know, the rules of, I see it like rules of like Puritan kind of belief systems, you know, where this is the only way that you can do this, or this, like the fear of God. There's like the fear of God in your lineage a little bit, where you have to do this to, I feel that, sorry. I'm saying sorry because, you know, it's such a weird thing to say sorry about a spiritual process. But it turned into that. It turned into control and a negative thing, and it was never meant to be like that. But anyways, that's a whole other story. So for you, it is about just kind of forgiving, and you even are one of the ones that kind of put the restriction on others, like the judgment and the criticisms. Like you still have a little bit of that in you, and I'm just calling you out so we can name it, tame it, or release it. And then forgive yourself for doing it and forgive the others, and start playing by your own freaking rules, man. Like rewrite the rule book, like whatever, and let's have it be running naked. Yeah, that's she started the bra movement, the burning bras. Because you were meant to kind of be a way bigger shaken up face, and you got to not care what people think, and that's just like a small part of you.
Yes.
So just bye, Felicia.
What comes through, and it's interesting because I feel this for everyone in the room, and especially for the people that have been read for, is that you must do. Now, my sister's going to love that I'm actually saying this words, because I'm often saying, don't do, just be. And that's not the case. Okay. You three, you guys, you need to start doing you. You need to actually, you get to do the doing piece. Now, for many people, they prefer the doing space, and they get distracted there. So does my sister. So you get stuck there. And the thing is, so then you got to come and balance the other way of the being present. Not so much with the three of you, okay? It's the opposite. You need to start making a practice of your authentic voice, your authentic self, whatever that is. I like to start with a whole 10 minutes a day. It's not a big deal, but 10 minutes of just being you, whether it's meditating. How do you feel? What do you think? Whatever. Your version of you. You got to start doing this because your energy needs to be in this earth. We need you. I'm yelling on purpose. We need you. Please start doing. I'm going to be behind you, pushing you forward. Go. Okay. You got to take up space. Should I say that one again? You got to take up space. You though, not to give to other people, not to put out. You got to take up space.
And I do want to say, you know, for all three of you guys, when you first start doing something, when you're so out of balance, and let's say being really quiet, just saying one word's going to feel like you're yelling.
Yeah.
Right. So notice that it's going to be, I'm just saying it's going to be distorted. So you're going to feel like you're being aggressive or dominating or whatever, when in fact you're actually not. You're just actually being seen. And you're actually just sharing your voice. Like, hey, I don't agree. And you're like, well, that's so aggressive. I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's not aggressive at all, but it's going to feel that way. I'm just partly saying it's going to feel that way until you get back into balance. It's like you don't really know what that feels like yet. It's going to feel a little distorted at first. Yeah.
Definitely feels like you need to do more of this. This really feeds you because this is really who you are.
It is totally.
So you got to do more.
Peace.
Yes.
Like you're tried, man.
You're thirsty. Like Wendy was talking about earlier, like you're thirsty, like you're starving, like your being is like, oh, I'm just like, yes, okay. So more of this because there's more here. And it's like, again, very similar. You have gifts and abilities that you're needing to remember now. Okay. It's time to start doing them and playing out in there. Go online, play around, sign up for some more classes, whatever. Just go and be and do it.
Commune with us weirdos.
Commune with us weirdos. I like it. Okay.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Um,
No, we don't really have Kool-Aid. Did anybody drink the water though? Did you taste anything?
She was feeling a little funny.
Just mess. I know, but now I'm a little like, wait.
Is that mine?
the cups are actually plant-based. So they're made out of plants so that they can break down so that they're not bad for the environment. So I do think they have. a
She's
little
really
bit-
proud of that.
I'm very proud of those cups.
conscientious.
I spent a lot of money to make sure that we have those cups, okay?
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you for honoring.
I know, I do. I appreciate it. I know it matters. Anyway, there's a lot more. Part of it, notice the joy. You bring this joy, and that's why we're all laughing right now, because you bring that. You are that heart space where we can just surrender and be goofy and be fun. Thank you. That's what we need more of. You need to lead though. You need to facilitate that more. And there's like parts that don't know that you need to lead, but we'll get there. Like I'm going to keep saying that to you for as long as you need. Okay. Because we need you. We need you. Okay. Take up space, do what you like, start telling others when things don't work for you. Okay. That goes for everyone in the room right now. Truly. Everyone here and everyone listening, they are the wise ones. So you speaking up it's not aggressive. It's not out of proportion. We need you to say, you know what? I think that we maybe need cups that are plant-based so they're not bad for our environment. And we need people to take initiative and do things like that. Exactly. But same thing, like people that like, oh, let's go and do this. And you're like, you know what? I think we need some time for stillness. Speak up, control that. We have people controlling that are way out of balance and they're abusing the shit out of it. Start leading. Control's the wrong word, but start leading and saying, no, stillness. Okay. So much of these messages, I know we only spoke for 3 people, but they are for so many people in this room. Okay. And they are the message of the month. So it's completely relevant. Did you want to say something?
No, I'm just agreeing with everything.
Yeah.
Okay. It's really good stuff. There's more conversations to be had, but you've got to put some energy into taking up space so that we can have this next conversation. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but it's this invitation still. Like keep cultivating it. Yep.
Well, this is such great direction because I've been feeling all of this, but like floundering. Like I don't know where to start. Like I was in this space probably at least 5 or 10 years ago, and then I wandered away from it, and like coming back to it. It's like you said, this feeds my soul. I know this is where I'm meant to be, but it's so hard. It's easy to get off track, right? So, but yes, it all makes sense.
Good. Yeah. Perfect. And I'm getting huge chills, everything that you're saying. So, and everyone in here is feeling it too. Okay. So we have about 20 more minutes. Okay. So I want to just, you don't just,
No, yeah, I don't.
Just teasing. So we want to kind of open the space. Like, what do you guys want to talk about? What do you want to talk about with each other or with us, or any questions? I mean, we can find
Do you
some
have
things to talk
questions?
about if you guys don't have anything to talk about, but we want you to ask.
Or if you have a question, even for spirit, you
Oh,
can
yeah,
ask it.
absolutely. If you have one for spirit. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Don't be afraid.
That's what this is all about. This is about taking up space.
I really felt a crack in my heart moment. I mean, I put my hand here because I could feel this little split. And I've been told before my heart is caged, and I'm trying to release it. I'm grateful to be here. They're all today.
Mixing both.
Yeah, that I know what you mean when you say crack or a cage, because I feel like, especially for the last several months for myself, it has felt like I'm like there's something wrong with my heart, or that it feels like, you know, it's breaking or it's hurting or whatever, and it's just
Just want to protect.
It's
All I
fine.
do is protect.
right, but it's
Thawing.
thawing, but it's
Yeah.
just because it's actually, you know, they say you want your heart to break, you want it to break wide open. So yeah, just keep
It's-
trusting that process.
I
Whatever's
had a
going on.
painting done, and mine was up, my heart is, sheltered, I protected, but in a glass mixing bowl.
Who did that? Should I do that?
Yes.
Gotta mix it up, I guess. I don't know.
You, even when we talked about it, you laughed about it, and I laugh about it because my heart is, like, I have it very buried, but yet it's in a glass bowl because I'm screaming for it to be not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I laugh at it because it's like, it's sealed, but yet at the same time, I'm begging
You know, in this
for it
moment,
to be brought over.
you know, so weird is they're saying the word chalice.
Whether I do now or.
It's not a mixing bowl. It's not a thing. It's a chalice. So it's a way. It's like you know, like a chalice is like you honor it. It's meant to. Yeah, I'm getting chills. It's like no, because they're showing you it should be honored that much. Like it's in the chalice. You know what I'm talking about?
I just felt.
Give
that
it life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I do things I don't even know what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense now. Then I know. I was like, you got a painting done where? Oh yeah. Yeah, you're cheating on me. Yeah.
So I have a question. So the last like probably 6 months, before that even, but the last 6 months I have been on this like massive journey about exactly what you guys were talking about. Loving yourself, yada, yada, yada. Everything's okay. Stop worrying, stop being depressed, just enjoy this moment. Took me a long time to get there. And it really is like magical to be in this space, in this path, which you guys are talking about. And you really don't know that you're not in a path until you veer off. It's been amazing. And then all of a sudden, something like shook my earth, not even anything crazy. And it was like last Friday, all of a sudden, I usually have the same routine. And I just felt like I had gone back, like the 6 months that I was like, somebody was shooting me back that far. And nothing dramatic happened. It was just a rough day. And I was so petrified of like going back to that 6 months. And and I guess my question is that I immediately stopped what I was doing, tried to get centered, thought of everything I've ever learned as my like tools in the toolbox. And then I just was like, get in the bathtub, talk yourself out of this. Am I crazy? Am I nuts? Like, but I was kind of able to do it. But I'm wondering if like, you know, like what your guys' thoughts are, and if, you know, what other things, did I do the right thing? I did feel better, but I've never experienced anything like that. It was almost like a demon was trying to like, not being weird.
I
No,
know,
I know what you mean.
and I love this conversation, and I want to thank you for bringing. It's a perfect conversation. You can never go backwards. You can never ever go backwards. The physics of this reality, how it works, who we are, the great I am. You cannot know something and then unknow it. Okay. The only exception I wonder about is if you leave and then come back and then you choose to not remember, but then it's going to be that much easier for you to remember again. And that's where we all are right now. Those listening, those sitting here, this is really about, we've done this so many times that's how we can remember so much in one lifetime. Okay. That being said, is there energies and things that can do that? If there are pathways within you. So it's the conversation of like, you can have the conversation of something outside of you is attempting to do that. The only way it can infiltrate you if there's something within you has a pathway. So the responsibility is always stay centered on you, exactly what you did. You were amazing and you did perfect because you then reconciled and repaired and loved whatever part of you found that way to that. If that even was happening, because we never really can know for certain, right? Because some of those things are not concrete. They're not like, and so then the guy came walking down the street. It's like, no, it's an energy. It's a force, it's a vibe. So, yes.
I do want to say too, it's okay, it's like you didn't do anything wrong, even when you were depressed or even when you were being negative. And I feel like that's the story that needs to change. It's like it's okay. It was okay that you were sad. It was okay that you're angry. As I'm moving through abundance, like financial abundance, it's like I still have moments of fear that, oh my God, I'm going to be right back where I was. Right. And that's what you're afraid of in some ways,
Her whole
right?
life.
Energetically.
Her whole life.
Right. And so it makes sense that you would be afraid of that. And that's what I would do. I have to show up and be like, that makes a lot of sense because that's what you've always known.
Yeah, I didn't think of it.
You know, something that, I have learned through the process too, is we always feel like we're going backwards, but it's actually a spiral staircase. So we may go over the same spot again, but we're doing it from a higher level. You know what I mean? So you may have to revisit a lesson, but you're doing it from that place that you've already grown from. So you're not going backwards, you're climbing, but it's a spiral staircase. So you'll see some of those places.
Like a point of
Over again.
reference.
Because I think your mom
From
century. Your mom like a perfectly good day, your mom says one thing and you're brought right back to where we were trying to heal from.
Right.
And that would be a gift of her showing you, right? Highlighting that part of you is still young, right? So you are meeting then a part of you and like, thank you for like giving this example because this is the journey we're all on. And we're like, what the heck? I mean, I think if you listen to our podcast at all, I was talking about how I flipped somebody off in my car and it happened.
She's like,
I like it when you get to driving.
yeah. Chokeray, yeah.
And yet, if I'm being
Yikes.
if I'm being really authentic, I'm being real about it. I'm owning it. I'm like, yeah, I totally just did that, and not my best moment. And I'm gonna love myself through this. And what does this look like? Clearly, I was triggered. I mean, I was pissed off, and I was acting like I was 5. I mean, I'm just truly. And so, what am I gonna do with my 5-year-old? I'm not going to berate myself and shame myself and say, oh my God, you're such an idiot. Like you're supposed to be loving and kind. And I'm like, I am loving and kind. Right. And noticing, okay, well, let's go on, Brenda. That was a really big feeling for something pretty small. Like, I don't know, but that was just okay. Let's keep going and unraveling. And if you listen, it's like, that's how I felt. I'm angry about being around people, let's say, that are not aware. Who didn't have to think about others, who got to just, right? So my example is very relevant, but, right?
But then it did come back to, her having parents that were not very emotionally aware. And then she started recognizing that she was ignoring her own emotions. Right, Brenda was. So she did eventually find the core. So if you do have those feelings, there's probably something, especially because you're a doer, you probably were ignoring some emotional part of yourself that needed you along the day or along a couple days ago. It feels like it was a couple days in the making.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just noticing, but just whatever that was for you.
You gotta pour into your own cup sometimes.
Don't spill it.
Yeah.
She pours into a lot of other cups.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate your input because it makes sense. And I did kind of think that like, you're going to have a bad day. You're human, these things, you're going to feel completely, like you are going backwards, but it's all about the journey. And actually within like a day or two or by Monday, I was like, whew, I feel like that's off again. I'm back to my light, positive, woo self. And then you find yourself that you fall. But it's about, I'm kind of in that stage of like accepting it.
You can pick yourself up quicker.
Yeah.
Though. You can
Yes.
recover quicker.
Yeah, because you're not a performing monkey. No, but you're not, meaning, you don't have to put on a happy face if that's not authentically you. It's about you being authentic. And it's about you really showing up for yourself every day. And if you don't want to be happy or you're overwhelmed or you're tired, you're allowed. And that's how you really learn how to love yourself. Because if you are putting on a face or being a performing monkey or whatever, because that's what you want yourself to be, that's controlling yourself and it's really moving yourself out of freedom. And it is neglecting the self. So it's okay. It's okay if you are overwhelmed. That's what I want to, it does feel like you need to be held right now. I'm going to be honest with you. That's what it feels like. It's like, I want to hold you.
I want to be healed.
All right. No, but you see?
Yeah.
Because that means there's a part of you that needs you. And that's what really this is about. And can you allow yourself to feel sad or feel whatever it is, even if it's close to where you were 6 months ago?
Like walking through maybe some of the thoughts that make you sad, is maybe that the healing there of maybe sometimes I go, oh, I just don't want to think about that because I might have to heal that. some more.
Yes, unpack it.
Yeah, it's almost like you've got to hunt for it.
Keep coming back.
Keep looking, you look
Release
for
it.
You ain't unpacked it.
it. Amen.
And you just try on, even if it's just for a couple of moments, 5 minutes. You go, maybe there's more here. I'm going to sit and see. As long as you can handle it, as long as it's comfortable. And then you say, okay, I've reached my limit and I'm done, because now you trust yourself. The place of power is to be authentic. The place of power is not love. It's authenticity. So it means we have bad days. And Matt Kahn will say, we go through things just like everybody else. We just learn how to go through them quicker.
Like that. Like that. That helps.
The place of power is our authentic self, even if you have to flip off a driver because they make
I
you
have those
miss.
conversations in the car. I'm like, why did I just say that? What's wrong? What's really going on with me? Why are you
Right.
so upset? You know, and
Because you're ignoring a need or
right.
And we
Yeah.
need to be angry. I'm allowed to be angry. I have just, all of my parts are beautiful, you know, right? And then in the world, I look around, I'm like, well, but everybody wants me to be kind and loving. And that's okay too. I can still love myself for those other parts and cultivate a relationship with people that can be like, yeah, you're just really pissed off. I can love you through that. Because we can do that with each other. That's what this is all about.
Just like you do
Absolutely.
in the car, like you release it and then person holding all that.
That's
It
very
definitely wasn't just that situation. It was
Sure,
something
yeah.
that led you up to that reaction.
exactly.
Exactly.
And
We do
noticing.
it for someone else.
And being present.
We do it for someone else in a minute.
Giving them grace.
Yeah,
Always
right,
do.
right.
Exactly. And then, and really, you know, why do we do that to ourselves? Like that's part of this conversation too. Why are we so hard on ourselves? Not to wallow and to judge, to be curious. Why are we doing that? Because if you can be curious and explore, you can maybe notice that I'm trained to judge and criticize. And maybe I can notice that I have parts of me that are just convinced that I'm not worthy of love. No matter how much time I spend loving myself, I'm just convinced. And I have evidence. I got some good evidence. But this happened. And I just keep unpacking it, right? Somebody said unpack over here. It was perfect. Yeah. And I'm going to say, well, wow, that really makes sense. And Brenda, I'm not giving up on you. You're lovable, every single part, no matter what it is. Even when you flip off a driver. I love you so much. Especially that. Exactly. We need more love that. We do.
Right. It's those moments we need more love.
And maybe that thing that you still need to unpack is like, oh, there's something still in my suitcase I forgot.
Yeah.
Right? And you didn't know. Looking for this thing. Oh, there it is.
And especially being leaders, I feel like we all, if we're in leaderships or a mother or whatever, right? It's like we're not allowed to be because it's seen as weak or something. Like if
Ooh, that's not how much. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't like to be weak.
She doesn't want to show that.
and that's okay because you know what that is? That's just a belief system, right? You just have a belief around, you know, somehow having an emotional response to something is a weakness or something. Like what's that belief system in you, you know?
It's really strange though, but I feel what you're saying because I feel like sometimes I can't have a sad day because I'm the leader. So like I want everybody to be happy. I have to, and I feel guilty if I'm not. Like if I'm just, not to make this about me, but you know, like
It needs to be
it's
about you.
important to have like a group of people, even like yourselves, that can bring you up, or like our staff, making a joke of it. I wasn't my perky morning self, and I encourage that every day. I actually like to go to an environment that's happy, and I want to go to work, you know, with our family. And so, and the little guy turned on his phone and goes, shake it up. that's totally something I would do. And it just made me smile. And
So you gave him the space to be the light for everyone else, so you could take a back seat for a moment.
Yeah, that's great. I like to receive that. You're so like lighten up a little
But
bit.
you're giving everybody that. I mean, you give that. I mean, I talk to you every single morning on my way to work, and like, this is my best friend. I talk to her every morning. I do have a therapist, but she is my rock. And I think that, you know, what we've learned over, you know, I mean, since even before COVID is like talking through your shit, like really talking through your shit. Cause like, I don't say the things that I say. I don't say that shit out loud. I mean, she hears it good, bad, and ugly. She knows every single thing about me. So it's just real easy to be like, yeah, this sucks. And then she'll be like, hey, I'm not bragging. I'm like, girl, I know you ain't bragging. But yeah, she's jealous. Like, we can have those conversations because we're not reading that. But that is really honestly the only, I feel like, why we've gotten this into this healing journey, into this, you know, I mean, I'm more confident of who I am more now than I've ever in my entire life. Right? 42. Almost 43.
sure, it's not so bad.
Yeah, like this is 60. It's a 60. So you got time.
Goes fast though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like I just wanted to add something real quick. Because I really, like when you were saying that, it really resonated with me. There was long times I thought that way as well. And I feel like what I heard was that it's a moment, not a life. Like it's you're experiencing sadness in a moment and it goes away in a moment. As you look at it, as you acknowledge it, it goes away. It's not you're going back to another lifetime. And that's how it always felt to me, like that I was regressing back to another life, another life. That's not what's happening. And that's the same thing. You're never going backwards, you're always going forward. It's just a moment and then it's gone.
It's amazing.
Like that.
Wow, the stuff that's happening right now, y'all.
Juicy.
Liking it. I'm liking it.
I do want to say, you know, what about creating a world where we can allow for people to have their experience and let them be wherever they're at? Right? What about creating a work culture where you can allow for that? Is that possible?
Wow. Well, she creates it for the other people.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because what could you hold space? Like, if can we allow for bad days? Because otherwise, the system's just not sustainable. Because you can't be happy all the time. You can have bad days. So what
She
about?
allows it for other people. It's not for herself.
I mean,
Let's
there's
just
so many
create a
times where
system.
she apologizes for something like, for, honey, you're not acting any way. You're not being grumpy. You're not being bitchy. You're being
Your needs
you.
matter.
You're expressing yourself in no
Stop rolling
way.
your eyes.
Like,
And that's self-judgment.
yeah.
So maybe you need to let your friend who take the lead a little bit more, take that off.
Like, that's not it.
That's what she wants for her. She wants her to keep shining and keep shining that light, because I'm coming aboard and this is, you know, this is my sister, this is my best friend. Like, you know, because I said, I want her to shine. I don't want to come. I have a big, huge personality, super loud and big. I want her to shine. I want her to continue to shine. I don't want her to be like, I'm a little sister. And she goes, Tiny, she's not going to do that. She's different.
Past that.
She's past that. And that's huge because she is. She's always made herself small. Always made herself.
Not anymore. Right?
Because this is her year.
It's trying to find a good man.
That's right.
Awesome.
What's your thing?
My second time being here, it's different energy, you know.
Her sister was here the last time.
She was throwing
Oh.
that energy out
And-
hardcore. For all of us.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. I didn't like her sister being here.
We have a,
Wait,
Yeah, I could just tell the difference, even just with her sister being in her room. It just felt.
this is very negative. It's always been very, you know, so.
She needs to be in this room more.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Find our own room.
Yeah.
But just thank you for all of that.
Thank you.
You need more of these, right?
Me too.
Do you guys feel that, I mean, I don't wanna make it like a cult, but I constantly, yeah, I don't wanna be like a Dateline episode one day, but you know,
Said it from the
drink the
get-go.
Kool-Aid, but I kind of feel like this draw to like tell people about what they're preaching about, you know,
We
and,
just need a
and,
bigger room.
and getting
Setting
more
this
people
up.
involved, like talking with, you know, saying it out loud. It's not like we're saying it's a religion or it's this, it's just
No.
basically in you and yourself. And the more people you talk about it with and bring them towards the light, so to say,
Transparentness.
couldn't we kind of manifest the environment we want to live in and friends and family that we actually want to spend holidays with? It's just an idea. But
I think the reason why I connect with you guys so much is because, you know, it's not like this is the way and what your beliefs, you're never saying like, no, it's spirit, it's this, it's that. You're saying it's God, it's spirit, it's your guides, it's this, it's that, and which gives so much more, right? There's so much more room for everybody's belief here.
Right or wrong.
Because I thought, oh, you know, I go to church, I have a Bible study group that I, you know, work with every Tuesday. And I think to myself, oh, would they be accepting of this? Like, am I allowed to like really like say this? And I was feeling that way. And I go, no, I'm going to share. I'm going to share with them like what I experienced and what I experienced when I'm here. Because if this is bad, I don't want, or this isn't good, I don't want to be replacing.
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah. So I think that there's so much room for so many beliefs here.
And that's
In the way
really,
that
that's
you
really
approach
We allow them
important.
to be our own.
Yes.
Yes.
That's really important to us because in no way do we know everything. I know what works for me. I want you to know what works for you.
Yeah.
And
And it's freedom. It's freedom in every
Yes.
way. And you have the choice to follow Buddha or Jesus. It's all inclusive. And I feel like that's this new earth. It has to be inclusive and it's compassionate. It's like, yes, isn't Buddha great? Isn't, Muhammad
Knowledge is
great?
power.
Or is Jesus great? Whatever. That's what resonates with you. That's amazing. That's so cool. Tell me more. Tell me more.
I've learned to say this where instead of saying, hey, can you pray for me? And what I've been saying is, can you, whatever your belief, whatever you believe in, whatever you draw power, strength, or from, can you put that energy out there for me?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that allows freedom with others as well. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like that
Yeah.
feels good. It's expansive.
Yeah.
Any other way, it's like it's like restricted.
I think that you guys provide a safe space for us to be authentic because you are authentic.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that are doing similar things to what you're doing, but if you don't feel the safeness or
Yeah,
the
it's hokey pokey.
authenticity,
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
then
it's
you don't feel safe to be authentic.
And if you feel hokey and it feels hokey, I'm out.
Versus peace and love and
Yeah.
but how authenticity, like, right? We are really
Authenticity.
real. And that's something that, we call each other out on. We're like, that's not authentic. That's not real for us. And we're not the experts. We're not. I'm the expert of me and that's it. That's nobody else, not even my kids.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's not how this works. So this being real, like, let's be real together because this is what we create, this and more. And, this is what I want everywhere. I want, monthly retreats. You guys got to start traveling the world with us and just cultivating more and more of just sharing who we really are. It is.
I just want to be part of a cult. Yeah.
Organically.
Brenda has to be married. She's going to have like 20 husbands or wives. What? Isn't that what cults?
What?
Yeah, cult leaders. We marry everybody.
Mary.
We marry
I
everybody.
get Monday, so like.
Oh, man. I'm like, I can't even handle one. What?
Yeah.
She like freaked out for a second. She's like, I have to marry someone. It does. It feels good. It feels good to be, it's like freedom. And we, honestly, we appreciate even being able to be
Sure.
free with you guys too, right? Like, it's reciprocal and it's reciprocal, right? Yeah.
Well,
I
you're showing us the way to be free and
Yeah.
authentic also. You are allowing for that, for us to be here. You are
That's
guiding our way.
We're showing you how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that,
You're like, oh yeah. this is good.
you know,
Cheers to the new format.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Thank you for
It was
that.
Jennifer's
Appreciate
idea.
It was.
I mean, her feedback. She was like,
it. And I think it might have been all three of you just communing together and figuring out and going, yeah, that's just not
We need
working
to
for
do
me.
It's not, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it's not
I was
better.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We did love
Sorry.
the rose pretty
The
fast.
work that you do is incredible. And I think that the value that you gave me last month was life changing. And I knew I was gonna get called last month.
Oh, yeah.
that was powerful.
So
Right.
a little bit of that for someone that needed it today, for someone that needed it today.
That's for Tamara, definitely needed it today.
I think that it was beautiful and the conversation that we all are having, connecting with each other, understanding exactly where we are and knowing like, hey, like I really want Erin to have her moment. I do. I pray for that. But I knew today wasn't the day. She knew it wasn't either. And I think that it's important to, you know, I mean, I love the conversation. It makes me feel connected to people that I don't know.
That fills me just as much if it had been my own name called and people I do not know, people that I love, care about, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Sometimes it's easier when it's not your name.
Yeah.
Any kind of fry and fry.
well, that's the feeling I had is that you three all needed to hear those messages today as much as we did, but in a more, you know, important.
We all took something from it too.
Yes, yeah.
Kind of share your moment with all of us essentially and very grateful.
And we appreciate your guys' support 100%.
Yeah,
So
we do.
we appreciate allowing us to do what we do. So thank you.
So next month, here, okay, just like this.
Same time.
Yes, it'll probably be on Thursday again. We'll probably-
Oh, is
Okay.
that, is she can't
Yeah.
have.
I just gotta figure out what my day off
Oh.
is. No, I can come anytime, it's just we don't get dinner beforehand.
Oh,
Because I get
yeah.
off at like 5:30, so then I gotta get in the car and put people off.
Get it out of your system. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.